Hello, everybody, and I hope you have a good Sunday so far. I really have a good one because, as I announced on Facebook, it wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to have one because we had a big scare of a big, ugly winter storm coming by. And Oklahoma is always with ice storms, so they were talking about a lot of ice accumulation. Hi, Cherry. How are you today? Hi, Zenta. I'm good, Don. Hi, Tina. Everybody's getting in now. What I did ahead of time, so I didn't have to waste time on the live doing this. These you can find in the Amazon influencer store. The blank Christmas ornaments. And I simply use the piece of scrap clay, and this is the Snowflake, um, texture from Makins. I did the strip and then I made the ribbon, and this is I used the mica powder. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Anna. Hi, Colleen. That I've been working on, and I need to finish all the tests and all the videos before I post the review, because I'm going to show during the review each and every piece of everything, and then the tutorials will follow. But it's the Decorum mica powder, which I find is fantastic, especially for hi Don, yes you did. Hi Joaquim. It does do a beautiful metallic effect. Let me try and get the camera to focus. As you can see, it's absolutely fabulous, the metallic effect. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to do quite a bit of tutorials with this, and I'm working on them. I also posted a short clip on the Facebook page showing the silvery metal effect that works beautiful. Anyway, so as I explained, this is very easy to do. And why you need this? Of course, you're going to put some bacon bond when you place it. Why you need this? Because the sculpture I'm going to do will be with a little fairy that hugs the Christmas ornament, and because she's going to be only on this part of the Christmas ornament, unless you have Lisa Pavelka's polybonder, it will be very hard to make it stay here and not fall off the ornament. So I'm going to practically attach her to this part of the clay that is already baked, but then she will be well attached and not fall off. For this, the main thing, and remember, I posted that video on what clay to choose for beginners. Let me actually post a link. Give me just a second. As I presented it in that there we go. Come on. Okay, so in this one, I talked about the living doll. Hi, Mary. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Moika. Dobry wieczór. Moika Slovenski? Chesky? Hi, Ellen. Hi, Holly. So this is the living doll of Sculpey. And this is what I'm going to use for the head. And hi, Sylvia. And for the hands themselves. But before I do that, I'm going to show you a trick, because I'm not going to bother with made eyes and all that. I'm going to simply use some, oops, and drop some also, black glass beads. These ones are actually not glass, they are onyx, but that's fine. But what you want to do, no matter what type of eyes you're using, in this case, I'm going to use wire because I'm going to make her with big black eyes. But if you have other kind of eyes, you need to kind of put them into something and bake them. Because the main, hi Roberta, the main danger that you face whenever you do a doll's head, if you try to do everything in one go, even with the eyes baked already, is that the eyes will start shifting. So what you want to do is to, and I didn't get a second, in just a second, let me get a second, one more bead. You need to get the eyes to stand, you know, fixed. So first of all, I'm going to slightly bend the end of my wire. This is a 20 gauge. And then one of the beads is going to go in. And then I'm going to need a little bit of room between these ones. So generally speaking, no, this one is not good. Why did I bring it? Generally speaking, the best thing to do is to use one of these cylindrical beads. Hi, Margaret. So this way your eyes will be fixed and not move around. So I'm going to place this one. And then the second bead. And then I'm going to bend this at the end again, so they won't come off and move. So these will be the eyes of the fairy. Oh, thank you, Roberta. Yeah, I've been working for my higher tier patrons on something for a while. It's going to be a very extensive tutorial made up from like 10 different smaller tutorials. And it probably might spawn a whole series. I am in Oklahoma, but I am from Romania originally. And my second native mother tongue is French. So that's why I have an unusual accent. People around here tell me to never lose my accent. Okay, so this is a 16 gauge. And it's going to help me. You always want some type of, goodness, the birdies are singing outside. You always want some type of armature whenever you're doing a doll or something, because you want it to be able to be sturdy, and also you don't want to spend so much clay. So in order to do this, I'm going to use a little bit of aluminum foil. And because it's a small doll, I'm going to use a very thin aluminum foil. I usually use the thin aluminum foil for my pieces, not the And see, I'm going pretty much here in the middle so that I have a little bit left. And I'm going to bend this, which of course being a 16, it's a little hard to do. And then just make it be relatively sturdier. Now, the first thing that we need to do here is to... Oh, I'm in Midwest City, Sarah. That is awesome. The first time that somebody from Oklahoma. Yay. I'm in Midwest City, kind of like across the street from Tinker. So we are going to place this, bend this in, fold it in 4, then do it a little bit narrower. Yeah, my spine and pain management doctor is in Edmond. Oh, and you're in Porto? Wow. So you know exactly what we avoided this weekend. It was scary. I was seeing again all the horror images from December 2007. Thank you, Dorian. Okay, and you always want to make sure that your aluminum foil is very well packed, because if it's not, the clay might shift and might go in and might crack. So always you have to pack it really good. And because I don't trust my hands to do this, I actually had my the shots at the base of my wrists last week, but this time it didn't work that good. Or I don't know if it's the weather or because I did a whole bunch of canes. And let me show you a couple canes, because in that big tutorial for my sponsors, there's a number of 3D illusion canes. Let me show you a few. There you go. Try and force it to focus. Come on. Come on. Usually when I move it, it focuses properly, but not this time. Hold on, I can force it. Just a second. There you go. So this is one of the 3D illusions. And another 3D, that's maybe I should go get the bead itself, because it's just a second. This one actually took me 3 tries before I nailed it. It's a stacked boxes one. You see the boxes, how one comes this way and one goes up. But I just wanted to do it in red. Anyway, it was, as I said, it took me a while to nail it properly. Yeah, because there's some of the beads are with 3D illusions. And then some are with other. I mean, there's a whole series of various techniques in one necklace. This one, no, it's just black and white. This one, it's just black and white. It's not silver. Only that I had to use Fimo. And this one is also a 3D illusion because you have to look hard and figure out which of them is standing out, the white or the black. And yeah, the other ones I showed them to you the last Sunday. Some of the other ones. But the whole necklace is on a 3D principle. I'll put out the intro as soon as I'm done. But I'm working a little bit more on it because I want also to put it on sale for sale on Amazon, and Amazon has some very stringent requirements about videos. Ah, it's Chris. Hi, Chris. I didn't see Chris. Hi, Sonia. Thank you, Roberta. As I tell everybody, it's not a matter of, it's always a matter of working at it. If you keep working with stuff, you'll get there. Nobody was born knowledgeable. So now that I got this, I'm going to add some more and do the same thing. So talking about the fairy should be about this big. And because we want to make it cute, we want to make it look childlike. So, you know, children have a different proportion of the head versus the body. So I want the head to be about this big, right? So about the size of a smallish walnut. So I need a little bit even more armature here. So I'm going to keep placing some aluminum foil. Another thing that you can use when you do larger sculptures on armature, after you pack your aluminum foil really good, cover it in cloth tape, masking tape, or paper tape, because that's going to ensure the clay stick into it much better, much easier too. But the main thing that you need to remember is that you want your aluminum foil to be super packed. Super packed. Even if it takes a little bit before you get all the super packing, make sure that it is super packed. And the other thing that I need to do is to remember that I cannot make this a full sphere because I need to insert the eyes. Oh, that's nice. It's not complicated. Oh, yeah. You know what? I've been biting my fingers not to order some felting needles. I have so many other projects to finish that I cannot afford to do felting right now. Okay, so as I want her to turn her head, obviously her eyes will be here. So what I'm going to do is to press a little bit here. I don't want this to be. It's not very complicated, but whenever you do sculptures, there are two things that are going to take two-thirds of the time that you're spending on that sculpture. And that will be fixing the base of your sculpture, because otherwise it's going to fall apart, and finishing. That's going to take the most of your time. The rest doesn't take that long. Okay, and now I can start putting a little layer of clay here. Yes, I conditioned it, and even if the living doll is not as soft as the Super Sculpey, it's still very soft and very easy to work with. And at the same time, it does hold detail. It does hold detail very nicely. Yes, I did. I did. I used to, I think that I said before, but for the people who haven't watched all my lives, um, in Romania, there's a tradition that with the coming of spring, between the 1st and the 8th of March, there are little amulets that have a white and red thread that are given to the women. And they can be of your family, can be your teachers, can be your co-workers, whatever. And the tradition is very old, very, very thousands of years old. And there's in Bulgaria, there's a tradition like that too, but they have a white and black thread. And in Romania, it's called Mărțișor. In Bulgaria, it's called Martenița. All comes from the month of March. And it represents the coming of spring and, you know, the victory of light over darkness and purity and fertility. And I mean, it's a whole legend. If you want, I'll go later and look for some videos to show you. But anyway, since I was a child, I was making those little amulets, and they are usually about this big, and they are worn pinned on your blouse. And they can be all kinds of things. They can be little animals, they can be flowers, they can be silver amulets. Most of the time, the most common used are the chimney sweep for luck, the snowdrop flower, the four-leaf clover, but pretty much anything. And there are some that are made with little people made out of tassels, male and the female. And then at the end, after the 8th of March, you're supposed to take it out and then hang it on a fruiting tree to help it blossom and be fruitful in the coming year. So anyway, since I was a child, I was making these little amulets and selling them because in February, the second half of February, and all the way until the 8th of March, there are artists selling their things, their creations on the streets of Bucharest, out in the street. And there are certain places that are known to have a lot of artists gathered together, you know, and I was always going with some friends and selling them. And goodness gracious, I made them out of a lot of stuff. I remember that at one spring, when the Muppets were very much in vogue, I got white pantyhose, and I made little heads like this, and I filled them with cotton. And then I made, because you could, I mean, it was during communism, you couldn't find all kinds of crafty stuff. And we are talking about the late 70s, early 80s. There weren't so many crafty things. So I made the googly eyes out of pills. Do you know how you have the thing of with pills, how do you call it? Pill foil? Anyway, they have those little bumps where the pills are. So I used those to make googly eyes. And then I went and I got a cheapo wig and I just got pieces of it, and I made the semblance of Miss Piggy. And they sold like crazy. But anyway, how did I get to tell you that? It was about, oh yeah, about felting. And yeah, I did a whole bunch of felted little animals too for that. But they were mostly tiny, tiny, you know. Okay, I'm good enough for the back of the head. Now let's start adding to the face. Because here I'm going to make some hair to cover it up, so we don't need a lot of finishing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, I made a whole bunch of stuff from fur because there was close to where I lived was fur, how are they called? Places where they make fur coats, a fur tailor shop. I don't know. And at one point, I realized that they were throwing away all the little odds and ends, and they were told to cut those in thin strips for people not to be able to make stuff out of them, take them and make stuff out of them, because they were expensive. They were for the our beloved leaders. But even if they were such thin strips, because they were silver fox, and they were very fluffy. So I would always get them and make little cats, fuzzy cats with them. So it was a lot of fun, and also with googly eyes. Okay. Fourier is in French. Fourier, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, I found a lot of ferret. I find a lot of ferret in the thrift stores. So see, I keep adding here. Let me try and get this a little bit lower. I keep adding here to create the face. So I made a piece for the forehead, a piece for the face and cheeks. I'm going to add a little bit for the chin, because we want her to have a chin, right? And this is how you blend, just simply using your fingers. It blends very nicely. Yeah, I know, I need to trim my fingernails, but it's such a pain. The chemo did mess up my nails a little bit, but they are still very hard and very hard to trim. Barrier, okay. We'll have to check on that to see how a fur coat making shop is called. Fur coat making shop. See, I'm not adding any more here because here I'm going to add clay for the hair. So I'm covering the ends. And now let's make a middle for the, let me check again if you can see with this properly. Sometimes it will, if there's any stuff on the table, it will not focus closer. There we go. Okay, then let's add a piece here for the nose area. That's too much. Then at this point it doesn't look like much, but as soon as you add all the necessary clay, you can start sculpting. Earlier, okay, so, but what is a fur coat maker called? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Joe. Oh, you got snow? Yeah, we were supposed to get snow, but we didn't. Today is actually quite warm. Okay, now let me show you another thing. To make her more endearing, I need to make the forehead a little bit high and round. That's another trait of babies. And if you think it's not just of human babies, but also animal babies, think about the whole thing with kittens and puppies. They all have, the head is way bigger for their body than the adults. They all have big eyes and they all have big foreheads. So we need to do that for the little fairy to look cute. And I'll show you how to make the face without knowing a lot of sculpting. Was it very hard until now? Everything that I showed, was it high difficulty? Because I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for everybody to be able to do it. And you want to come see how you have the forehead like this. You want to come a little bit like this with the face being towards a point here. And you want it nicely smoothed out. Okay, now we can start working on the sculpting. First, I'm going to do the eyes. First, push the clay that got in the way. And yeah, you kind of have to bring it in a lot. To make sure that the beads are covered on all sides. No, right now she looks like some kind of alien. dolls freak you out. Why? Okay, and now I'm going to gently. Okay, that's why I need to trim my nails. I want to smooth all this area. On the lower part, we don't do any kind of eyelid. On the upper part, you will get an eyelid. But you can go without eyelids altogether if you want. You don't have to put eyelids. I'll show you how, but you don't have to. Now remember, there's a little crease at the end of the eye that goes in. And we go in the top too also. Needs to be nicely smoothed out. Do the same on the other eye. So this is a generic fairy. You can clothe her differently. You can do all kinds of other things. And then here gently bring it in. Now, see, she looks a little bit frowning. What you do to have that not happen, you just lift this area a little bit. The inner corner. And another great tool to smooth out is actually a paintbrush. Let me catch up with. Yeah. Yeah, that's the voodoo thing. Yeah, but those voodoo dolls, they have to have a specific, they have to have something from the person in them. Not just any doll. You can stick pins. See how beautiful a paintbrush smooths out. Actually bought quite a few. Remember I told you that I didn't do as much jewelry as I was doing art doll sculpting. And I had a whole array of paintbrushes for smoothing out. So you want to make her very endearing, you can make her almost like crying. And for that, you lift this part of the eye. And don't worry about this because this is going to be covered by the hair. Okay, let's do some eyelid now because I promised to show you how to do eyelids. I have my eyeglasses off so I can see what I'm doing. So I'll catch up with the chat here in a little bit. Okay, so what you need to do is to do a little string. Now the eyelid is a little bit more complicated than without eyelids. And let's pray my hands don't twitch. The reason why I stopped sculpting. As I have nerve damage and my hands start twitching at one point. And after it happened several times that I worked on something for several days, and then with the hand twitching, I just threw them 3 yards away and destroyed everything I worked for. I said, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, see, so this is with eyelids, and I'm going to bring this even higher a little bit. Now, let's give it a little nose. And we need just a button nose, so it's going to be very tiny. It has to be about 1/8 of the size of the eyes. Now, another tip, if you want to make it really cute, the nose has to be almost, I mean, look how much the whole facial expression changes. See, now if she looks like an adult, it's but if you move the nose almost between the eyes, she's going to look twice as cute and adorable. So now we need to gently smooth this out. Yeah, talking of which, I need to make me another. I made me a Christmas tree topper with a fairy a few years ago because the tree topper I had broke. So I was in a hurry and I didn't have a lot of money. So I just went ahead and made the little fairy as a tree topper. And I keep saying that I need to make something that's not made in a hurry. Something that would be better worked. I really need to make one. So don't worry about the nostrils or anything right now. What you need is to smooth the nose in. Only on the sides and the top, not the bottom. You have nothing to do with the bottom. Then make just a little bit, a touch of a nostril here and a touch of a nostril here. And then, remember, I keep telling you that the best thing for nostrils and for smiles is the gum cleaner tool. I'm gonna give it 2 nostrils. It's just a pinch more pointy, just a pinch. So we got a cute button nose. Let me enhance the nostrils a bit. Now, there's several ways of doing the mouth, but I'll show you the easiest and the one that's with the about the cutest effect ever. first grab whatever you want to grab to figure out where you want the mouth to be. And again, you want it to be fairly high. So if we do it like this, but we are going to do a trick here. Going to actually cut this. Then bring the bottom in and the top lip out. And again, it's going to need a little bit of smoothing out. And just a touch of, and then comes the gum cleaner. First of all, we are going to give her the nasal labial fold, and then we're gonna make her smile. There we go. Okay, let me catch up with the chat. I probably need to scroll up. Hi, Catherine. Okay. Okay, I'm still catching up with the chat. Yes, you can smooth the clay, and I'll show you another trick here in a second. Your heart is speeding up. Why? Okay, so now we can go ahead and remove the extra that we have here, because yeah, it's always better to place more, because here is going to be the hair. Now, before I do anything else, she needs a little bit of color, right? Is it too bright? Do you have problems seeing anything? Okay, give me just a second. I'm gonna go grab some makeup. So I'm going to use some old blush, pretty much. And I'm not going to use, see, the smoothing brush is fairly, not this one, the smoothing brush is fairly tough. It's very dense, but it's quite stiff. To apply color on her, she needs a very soft brush, and I'm going to use the brush that I usually use for mica powders, one of them. little bit more. And let's give it just an idea of a chin. Actually, to be very honest, if any of you have ever heard of Guild Wars 2, to me right now she looks very much like an Asura. But yeah, generally most dolls, as you sculpt them in the beginning, they look like E.T. A lot. She needs more smile. Oops. Okay, that was a boo-boo. See what I was telling you. Sometimes my hands don't do exactly what they are supposed to. Okay. I'm trying to bring this out a little bit more. And give her a little bit more of a smile. And one more thing that I need to do is to give her some eyebrows. And we are going to give her some three-dimensional eyebrows. Very, very, very thin strips here. Here we go. In just a minute, I need to put my glasses on. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to make this one as easy as possible. You know. All right, I'm gonna put this in the oven. And while it's baking, I am going to sculpt some other stuff. It's going to be on some toilet paper. Okay, so let's make some wings. I usually keep the ribbons of the stuff that I get as gifts for stuff like this. And this is a very easy way of making fairy wings. There are so many ways of making fairy wings that... Okay. So, first of all, you want a piece of ribbon that's fairly straight. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere here. Oops. And then of course I want some wax paper because I'm not going to work on this. Not coming to life. Oh, coming to life. You scare Santa. Don't scare Santa. Okay. Now, this is called diamond dust, and I got it from PolyClay. And then I'm going to use some liquid PolyClay. And yeah, you can make flowers like this too. Now, I always have a paintbrush special for liquid clay, and you can clean it quite easily with alcohol. Well, we're gonna do eyelashes, but painted. It's a little bit hard to put eyelashes in. That's why I didn't want to mess with that. But yeah, you know, when I had chemo, I was really lucky I didn't lose my eyebrows, but I had one eyelash left on the left eye and two on the right eye. So yeah, I didn't lose all my eyelashes either. Okay, so make sure that the ribbon is well covered in the liquid clay. Like that. Yeah, and we used to make fun in my because on that breast cancer forum I told you about, people usually group by chemo month. And because pretty much all of us were with chemo and with estrogen inhibitors and all that, when the hair started growing, it started growing funny. And we used to make fun that, yeah, my eyelashes started coming back. I just found one on my chin. Did that happen to you too? Okay, so this is the first step. Of course, now I'm going to pull the camera a little bit away because I don't want to use the heat gun right under the camera. I'm afraid it might damage it. Okay, let me see. And in that angle where you can still see what I'm doing. Alrighty. I know. Yeah, that's the bonus. The non-bonus part is that you lose the hair in your nose too, and that pretty much brings a constant runny nose. Okay, it's not done yet. Yep. Embossing system. Okay, this time this part is done. I can turn it back. The back still needs a little bit. Yeah, my hair when it started growing back, number one, when it first started growing, it was like peach fuzz, and I had a mohawk, you know, like a baby elephant. And then I had, I don't know, like 8 or 9 cowlicks. So it was going all over the place, pretty much. Okay, one more. So So for this first step, you want it to be really done. Also be very careful because see how here I went too close and the ribbon started. Well, yeah, you know how baby elephants, they have that little bunch of hair right on top of their heads. That's how I look like. And then it went very curly, then less curly, then very curly again, ringlety. And now it's just, I look like a mushroom most of the time. Okay, now we got this, that's fairly, I'll put it back for now. So I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm just bending it. Okay, this is 24 gauge wire. I think I have some pink wire somewhere, but I'm not gonna bother right now with it. You want it to be really, really... Oh gosh, Donna, I'm so sorry. It must have been horrible. I was spared. I do go through a scare every 6 months or so, but I always try to think outside the box. That's my thing always. I always try to teach people how to do it too. Because, you know, there's that saying that different is better than better. Now we're going to use again some, let me actually get another piece of wax paper, because I don't want to be scraping liquid clay from my tile for 2 days. Okay, so you see what I did with the 24 gauge wire and just made the thing here. Hi, Joan. Hi, Norma Jean. Okay, now we're gonna add some more here. I don't know, you need to be careful so it wouldn't be too too hot. If it's an industrial heat gun, it might be too hot. And you saw how I always move it. If you don't move it all the time, you might mess up your, burn out your clay. Okay. And now this will be for now. And this is going to go in the oven. Let me go check on the little doll. Nope, she's not done. But you know, considering how I went for now, and the fact that she's going to need to cool off, I'm going to need at least uh, another hour to finish the little fairy. So why don't we take a break? And it's 1:42 p.m. where I am now. So let's say 2:30. Let's do a part 2 at 2:30. So that would be in about 47, 48 minutes. What do you think? Hmm? Yeah, if they use them for large resin, that might be too much because they would use it for the air bubbles, and that's too hot. Okay, I'll see you back in like 47, 48 minutes at past 30, half past the hour. Okay, see you in a little bit.